Isaiah chapter 10. Woe to those decreeing decrees of iniquity, and writers who have prescribed perverseness of my people, that widows may be their prey, that they may spoil the fatherless. And what do you do at a day of inspection, and at desolation that comes from afar? Near whom do you flee for help, and where do you leave your glory? It has bowed down without me in the place of a bound one, and they fall in the place of the slain. With all this his anger has not turned back, and his hand is still stretched out. Woe to Asshur, a rod of my anger, and my indignation is a staff in their hand. I send him against a profane nation, and concerning a people of my wrath I charge him to spoil, and to seize prey, and to make it a treading place as the clay out of places. And he does not think it so, and his heart does not reckon it so. For to destroy is in his heart, and to cut off nations, not a few. For he says, Are my princes not altogether kings? Is not Calno as Carchemish? Is not Hamath as Arpad? Is not Samaria as Damascus? As my hand has gotten to the kingdoms of a worthless thing, and their carved images greater than Jerusalem and than Samaria, do I not, as I have done to Samaria and to her worthless things, so do to Jerusalem and to her grievous things? And it has come to pass, when the Lord fulfills all his work in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, I see concerning the fruit of the greatness of the heart of the king of Asshur, and concerning the glory of the height of his eyes. For he has said, I have worked by the power of my hand, and by my wisdom, for I have been intelligent. And I remove borders of the peoples, and I have spoiled their chief ones, and I put down the inhabitants as a mighty one. And my hand gets to the wealth of the peoples as to a nest, and as a gathering of forsaken eggs, I have gathered all the earth. And there has not been one moving wing, or open mouth, or whispering. Does the axe glorify itself against him who is hewing it? Does the saw magnify itself against him who is shaking it? As a rod waving those lifting it up, as a staff lifting up that which is not wood. Therefore the Lord of hosts, sends leanness among his fat ones, and under his glory he kindles a burning, as the burning of a fire. And the light of Israel has been for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame. And it has burned and has devoured his thorn and his brier in one day. And the glory of his forest and his fruitful field he consumes from soul even to flesh, and it has been as the fainting of a standard-bearer. And the rest of the trees of his forest are few, and a youth writes them. And it has come to pass in that day, the remnant of Israel and the escaped of the house of Jacob do not add any more to lean on its striker, and have leaned on Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. A remnant returns, a remnant of Jacob, to the mighty God. For though your people Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant of it returns, a consumption determined, overflowing with righteousness. For a consumption that is determined, the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, is making in the midst of all the land. Therefore, thus said the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, Do not be afraid, my people inhabiting Zion, because of Asshur. He strikes you with a rod, and his staff lifts up against you in the way of Egypt. For yet a very little while, and the indignation has been completed, and my anger by their wearing out. And Yahweh of hosts is awaking for him a scourge like the striking of Midian at the rock Oreb. And his rod is over the sea, and he has lifted it in the way of Egypt. And it has come to pass in that day, his burden is turned from off your shoulder, and his yoke from off your neck, and the yoke has been destroyed because of prosperity. He has come in against Aiath, he has passed over into Migron. At Michmash he looks after his vessels. They have gone over the passage, they have made Gibeah a lodging place. Ramah has trembled, Gibeah of Saul fled. Cry aloud with your voice, daughter of Galim. Give attention, Laish. Answer her, Anathoth. Madmenah has fled away. The inhabitants of the high places have hardened themselves. Yet today, to remain in Nob, the mountain of the daughter of Zion waves its hand, the hill of Jerusalem. Behold, the Lord, YHWH of Hosts, is lopping a branch with violence, and the high of stature are cut down, and the lofty have become low. And he has gone around the thickets of the forest with iron, and Lebanon falls by a mighty one.